video. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this wonderful episode 29 of Diversey BW HOTELIER, the GM show. Today is Thursday, the 7th of December, and we have a very interesting topic. And as one would expect from Udaipur, we have stars on the show today. Thank you, Diversey. Thank you for because if you have not watched the shows live, do not stress. The recordings are there. You can watch them on bwhotelier.com or across our social media. Block your time. Now, let me just get rolling with the show and bring in our first star, Parvinder Boal. He's the Cluster General Manager of Operations and the General Manager for Taj Lake Palace, Udaipur. Welcome to the show, Parvinder.
Good evening, Bhuvnesh and the team BW Hotelier. Thank you for having me on this wonderful show, and really happy to be here. Thank you.
We're delighted to have you here. Our first one.
Thank you, Bhuvnesh. Thank you. It's a pleasure. Absolutely my pleasure.
Yeah. Next one is another star, Nishant Agarwal. This is my second show with him. He heads the wonderfully appointed Leela Palace, Udaipur, as the general manager. Welcome to the show, Nishant.
Very good evening, Bhuvnesh. Thank you for having me here. It's always a pleasure. I have been a part of the show earlier, and yes, I have watched many more. And it's always great conversing with people, looking at what hotels are doing and what the industry is doing as a whole. Good to be here again. Looking forward for a great conversation.
Thank you, Nishant. Thank you. You're most gracious. Next in is another star, Rajesh Nambi. He's the general manager of the extremely well-appointed Raffles Udaipur, and somebody at whose hand BW Hotelier was born on the 12th of January 2015 while he was at the Leela, New Delhi. Welcome to the show, Rajesh.
Greetings, everyone, and thanks a lot, Bhuvnesh, for having me on the show. I can't thank you enough. There's a lot that I owe to BW, and it's and under your leadership, and it is just growing leaps and bounds. And always proud to be associated with you. Always, thank you so very much for having me on the show.
Thank you, Rajesh. You're most gracious and very kind with your words. Next in is another star, our first show with him, Sandeepan Bose. He's the general manager of Mementos by ITC Hotels, Ekaya and Udaipur. Welcome to the show, Sandeepan.
Thank you, Bhuvnesh. Thank you to having me here. This is a property which we recently opened, and
I know
it is my privilege to be representing it and be part of it. Thank you so much for having me.
My first show with somebody who's heading Mementos. So congratulations.
Yes, we are the first Mementos hotel which we opened for ITC, and we have a couple of more lined up. Probably in next 3 months, we will have something in opening in Jaipur. So that's in addition to the properties. Yes.
Congratulations again. Next in is Pradyumna Singh. He's the general manager of the Taj Aravali Resort and Spa in Udaipur. Welcome, Praddy.
Good evening, sir. Thank you. Thank you for this platform. I will always be grateful to the BW Hotelier as a part of my growing career, where I'm being identified as a best hotel manager, and that's where I always have this association with BW. And thank you for these recognitions, and the motivation will keep providing.
Delighted, Praddy.
Thank you.
Next in is somebody who's moved in from the city of Nawabs, Bhopal, Gaurav Rege. He's the general manager of the Radisson Blu Udaipur Palace Resort and Spa. This is my second show with you, Gaurav. Welcome.
Yes, so thank you so much for having me on this show. I think it's a great platform to interact with fellow hoteliers and learn so much about this beautiful city and the business that it gets here.
And thank you so much for gracing our platform. Now, before I get rolling with my first question, let me briefly introduce the session. Udaipur is a star for India, is a star for Rajasthan, and is a star in its own right. What Udaipur offers to inbound and domestic tourists and to the tourism and hospitality at large has very few parallels. And as the city is often referred to as the city of lake, in fact, the Venice of the East. If you can see, most of them are on the lake. Look at Parvinder, look at Gaurav, Rajesh, Leela is there, of course, Sandeepan. Yeah. And is also, like I said, a prominent tourism destination in Rajasthan and really renowned for its rich history. There's so much of story. There are majestic palaces and such picturesque lakes. The city's hospitality industry plays a vital role in offering visitors a unique and memorable experience. If you haven't yet been to Udaipur, I suggest you have it on the bucket, not only on your bucket list, but have it right at the top. So let me begin with this, Parvinder. Now that we're into the show and we've set some context, why don't you lay the line straight about preserving heritage and tradition and get exploring Udaipur's hotels and resorts, their maintenance, and also showcase the city's rich and cultural heritage and traditions. With Parvinder. Parvinder, you've been here, I've set the context. Why don't you set the line straight with challenges in maintaining heritage properties and delve into the challenges faced when managing, preserving heritage hotels and properties?
Thank you, Bhuvnesh. First of all, good evening to all my fellow hoteliers and co-panelists. And really appreciate you showcasing Udaipur in its right spirit. And I think it's one of the most beautiful destinations which has contributed towards, India being on the global luxury and leisure tourism map. So ICL, we've been custodians of these living legacies for over 50 years, Bhuvnesh. The iconic properties such as the Taj Lake Palace, the Lak Palace, the Falaknuma Palace, and the Umaid Bhavan Palace. These are crown jewels, not only in the IHCL portfolio or in our company portfolio, but also a pride of India. And I think these have put India as a country on the global tourism map of luxury and leisure tourism. So coming to the question that we have, the restoration process of these heritage properties is an extremely skilled process. And we need to engage the best of artisans, the artisans who understand the sensibilities and the sensitivities of the intricate work that has gone into building these architectural marvels. And I think that's where, IHCL, with its experience, has pioneered the art of restoring these wonderful heritage hotels. We've been able to find the right skill set, the kind of artisans who can understand what it goes into restoration of these kind of beautiful properties. We've been able to do that. Of course, it's very, very, intensive in terms of the money spent and, the resource that it takes. And with these wonderful artisans and investing into the state-of-art amenities for our guests, international guests and our domestic guests, we've been able to create a wonderful portfolio of such beautiful heritage hotels across the ICL, which are now, world-class, truly world-class luxury hotels and have earned their mark and their name across the globe. And I think that is where, it's very important that we handle these properties with kids' gloves. We invest in them with the right skill set. And I think that's where ICL has really been able to preserve the rich cultural heritage of each state, each destination at which these wonderful palaces exist. And we've been able to showcase the rich heritage of India and of each of these states. So I think it's all about understanding what goes into managing the intricate work. And these palaces have withstood the test of times. For example, the Lake Palace is a 277-year-old palace, iconic in its own ways. And, it still looks the way it was built. And we've been able to maintain and preserve it and offering to the world a glimpse into the wonderful heritage of Mewar. And I think that's where, I would like to end my answer. But I think that's what we pioneered. Finding the right resource, making sure that we are attending to these wonderful properties in time and investing back in them. And that's a wonderful challenge to have. Thank you, Bhuvnesh.
General managers are also great storytellers, and considering the amount of days, not months, that you spent in the asset, you've actually picked up the right nuances to underscore the importance of Udaipur and contextually Mewar. Thank you so much, Parvinder. And that's well for our next rollout with Nishant. Nishant, Parvinder has actually, spoken a few words that you would have wanted to. But let me just talk about preserving heritage and tradition in Udaipur. And if you can tell us a bit about Udaipur's hotels and resorts, the maintenance, and showcase the rich and cultural heritage and traditions. You've been here a while. You're on the lake. You have the same kind of challenges that most assets have. So why don't you get rolling?
Thank you, Bhuvnesh, and good evening, everyone. Good to be here, as I said earlier. This palace in itself is a platform or is a vehicle to carry on with the legacy, the rich culture of Udaipur. From the time it was built, to build it, local artisans were engaged, and we have picked up all the elements which are very, very rich and comes from the background of Udaipur and surroundings. Starting with the tikri work, you will see about 4 lakh square feet of our walls adorn this beautiful tikri art. We have Pichwai paintings adorning the walls of our entire palace. We have Tarkashi work that you will see in a lot of rooms and other public areas, and so on and so forth. And I can go on various architectural and design forms that have been incorporated in the overall architecture of the palace. So this is when the hotel was built. Moving forward, we engage with a lot of local artists. We have performances, we have rituals in the morning and in the evening where it's all about maintaining the heritage, the culture, and that gets showcased to the guests who come to us from all over the world. So we don't have the luxury of having a real palace, but we try and do as much as we can to come close to that. And honestly, we are piggybacking on what Taj Lake Palace and the heritage of Udaipur, how it took the city of Udaipur to the world. We are really capitalizing on that, but trying to carve a niche for ourselves by not doing anything different, but capitalizing on the rich culture of the place. So this is what we do. And we'll continue to do that. Even the design of the boat somehow matches with what you would see on the lakes in Udaipur or Rajasthan. So a lot of inspiration has been drawn from architectural forms from Udaipur and Rajasthan as a whole.
Thanks, Nishant. That's very interesting. But then the fact is, all of you, the assets that you had, you've all been upping your game. And the end beneficiary is the customer, the guest, in terms of the assets they savor and the experiences that they take back. Look, Rajasthan is all about culture, is all about its royalty, it's all about its food. And more than anything else, it's about the setting. The lakes, for instance, of Udaipur. Who would have known? Of course, Bhopal has lakes, Udaipur has lakes, and the rich cultures and colors. So grateful, Nishant. Thanks. You had a wonderful asset. Yeah. Rajesh, you had a very, very new asset, a brilliant new asset. I've been there. I've savored it. And you've been there a while now, so you're not a newbie. So if you can tell me about the unique appeal of Udaipur and discuss what makes Udaipur distinct from other destinations. You've done a few, and your second stint here, other destinations in Rajasthan. And the unique experiences it offers to various travelers, be they domestic, be they inbound, international. And you may want to throw in a bit about the weddings.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much, and good evening once again. So the unique appeal of Udaipur is, of course, my presence in Udaipur, to start with. Jokes apart, right? And of course, the country mansion, the Raffles. You can see it right there on the screen right behind me. It's very different. It's very unique. It's not a palace property. It's a country mansion of India. I don't know when you're going to get a mansion like this another time in India, but built over a 21-acre property, 101 key, and that, of course, is the unique appeal of Udaipur. But having said that, I think that apart, let's come to the real crux of the matter. We are in the land of Maharanas and not Maharajas, right? There's a whole lot of a difference there. We are in the DNA of Mewar, right? That is completely different from rest of Rajasthan, rest of India, and rest of the globe. Today, Mewar dynasty still is the longest serving dynasty in the world. Now, Udaipur stands as a very, very distinctive destination amongst everyone else, offering a tapestry of experiences that sets it apart from the rest. I mean, you talk about the flora, fauna, the lakes. Who would have thought? You just said that Bhopal had lakes, right? Great. But here we are in a city of lakes, the Venice of East, where each of these lakes are man-made. And look at this architectural marvel of the city. Each of these are man-made, and each lake feeds the other. So the mother lake, Pichola, from there to Swarup Sagar to Rang Sagar overflows into Fateh Sagar, and then it goes down, and it comes to the last is Uday Sagar. Where we are located. Imagine that architectural marvel, that thought process that went in at that point of time. City Palace as such and is an architectural marvel built on a hill. You find a beautiful banyan tree right on the top and you wonder where is the root of this tree, right? Now, well, everything was done right beautifully by the erstwhile Maharanas, and they really did a great job there. But what really happened was the iconic Lake Palace with the Octopussy shoot that put us right up there on the international market. And that is your answer to the FID. So even today, if you actually look at it, and my colleagues can add on more, our biggest inbound influx is from United Kingdom, from France, and from the parts of North America where the generation is towards a slightly older side, where you get people from California, from DC, and all those places. These are the people who have seen the Bond movie, and then they've started coming in. Now, what has it added in the recent past is a lot of movie shoots because of such iconic destinations over here has put Udaipur on the map, on the world map of wedding. So when it comes to a great destination wedding, Udaipur has to be on the map first. I mean, everybody really wants to do it in Udaipur, and those who can't afford are the ones who go to other places. Is it expensive? Yes, it is expensive, but people pay for what Udaipur has to offer as a unique appeal, right? That is what really makes it very different. Being on the travel and leisure top 5 3 times in the last 8-9 years as a favorite city in itself states a lot about what Udaipur brings to the table. So, I mean, from be it food, be it people, be it history, be it flora and fauna. I mean, like in some time from now, my lake is going to be seeing flamingos and pelicans on Uday Sagar and Minar Lake across the corner. We've got Jawai, which is about 80 kilometers from here, where you can do leopard spotting. I mean, you have everything right across each other, and the cultural heritage is massive. So I think all these things really add up to a harmonious blend of what Udaipur is as compared to any other destination in the globe.
Great. And that is why also this show is focused only on Udaipur. And I like it, like you say, My Lake. Yeah, the ownership is a nice experience, but you own it in the sense that you're responsible for it.
That's right.
Okay, great. Sandeepan, let me dive in with you now with your new asset, the first Mementos. Let's talk about emerging trends, and if you can explore the latest trends in Udaipur's hospitality sector from a point of technology integration to wellness and luxury experiences. So we'd like a short and crisp response.
When we say about this Mementos, as we just highlighted, this is the first property for ITC, and this is the luxury segment of hotels which ITC has ventured into, as we have luxury collection, and this is the addition to the entire dynamics of the hotels. When we opened the hotel and we came down with the concept for this hotel, we have all spoken about what Udaipur has to offer, and what we came up with was Unseen Udaipur. If you look at my back, the hotel, right, it's a retreat in itself. It's greenery all around. So we have near about 117 acres of hotel and 500 acres of land, or the land bank in which we operate this hotel in. This hotel is just not about having a place where people can relax, but it gives the entire concept around the hotel. You have a lake inside the hotel, which is near about 2.5 kilometers long. We have a dam inside the hotel so that the water flow could be controlled in the city and in the hotel, so that the level of water also remains how it should be. So it's a small city in itself. We are coming up with a golf course, which will be the biggest in the city, which we would be offering to our guests. We have 2 helipads, so that, even for a person who wants to come for a retreat, or he comes for a social function or a corporate event, he could, fly in. We are a little far from the airport, about 40 minutes drive, but that gives
great USP for your hotel. But let's get on to the emerging trends.
No, absolutely. So trends is first, it is just not about technology. It is about the concept. So the trend is that people and the city is growing. It is growing out of the place where they are in. So everything was concentrated towards the city center. Now it's spreading. Now, when you speak about technology, technology should not be the forefront in luxury. When you look at luxury, it should not be a robot serving a human. It should be a human serving a human. And technology should be at the backdrop of it. All the things which we do should be supported by technology, and technology should not be overpowering us. When we say about technology, from the room to a check-in to the back of the house, like the security. If you look at the hotel, it's like 500 acres. So for taking rounds, we had drones because it cuts down the manpower. It gives us more security parameters created. So there are a lot of things which we do so that people are in an occlusion which is more appropriate for them. What we also see right now is people are just not coming to the hotels to have a single day out. They are coming down to relax, to unwind. So nature and holistic wellness is something which is also a trend which is coming in hospitality, and for our hotel, which has a spa, which is one of the biggest for the ITC itself. We see a lot of people doing that as well as a concept. So it's a holistic approach towards entire stay, plus their retreating, plus their wellness, plus personalizing the entire concept together.
So all in all, a great package and input for a solid, luxurious Udaipur experience.
Absolutely. Yeah. So when we say that memory is available. That's how we sell our hotel. So when you come, you see an unseen Udaipur, because it's just not about lakes and palaces. And when you come down to the hotel and stay inside, you create memories. So that's our USP, and that's how we use our technology and the luxury element in the hotel to sell ourselves.
Thank you, Sandeepan. Let me now dive in with in local. Pradyumna, who better to talk about cuisine and dining experiences of Rajasthan and Udaipur than a local lad, if I may call you that. Yeah. So why don't you highlight the culinary offerings of Udaipur, from traditional Rajasthani cuisine to global dining experiences, right? Please.
Thank you, sir.
Over to you.
Thanks a lot. Rajasthan, in totality, come across as a one state, and probably, however, there are different dynasties and different regions were there. Udaipur itself is very different. However, is sharing its boundaries with part Gujarat, part Marwar, and part Hardoti. So even the cuisine have influence of all three places which is nearby. Udaipur itself, since it has a lot of lakes around it, barring if you see Marwar cuisine, wherein there's hardly any uses of fishes, wherein Udaipur cuisine have uses of fishes also. Apart from Kair Sangri, Lal Mas, Dal Bati Churma, whatever we heard, what Udaipur offers, actually Udaipur have a lot of these cuisine, which is cuisine of bygone era, like a Shikar cuisine, which used to be there. It's just dying, and it's only you read in the books and all. And however, practically this cuisine is just not available for guests. What is available is very commercialized food. What we've been trying, the tribal cuisine, the Shikar cuisine to revive is, and we started offering to these small groups. Our hotel is situated in Aravali ranges and a forest land. There are some private land beyond the hotel where we take our guests, and we offer these cuisine of the bygone era and a Shikar cuisine as well. Of late, we realized that there is a Ribari, there's a community which is who shepherd camels around Marwar to Mewar, because that time when summers hardly anything to eat, they all travel towards Mewar side with this kettle of and then we reach out to all of these people, and there are some places in Rajasthan where the camel milk kulfis are available. Now, it is me being a Rajasthani, what is great learning for me that in Bikaner, there's something like that exists. And that's why we have sent our chef to Bikaner to understand how this is made, and we being now, for a Rajasthani also, it's a surprise that something like this used to exist in some part of the land, partridges, quails, rabbit, all of this cuisine are just gradually disappearing from the menu. And our hotel being very fortunate to cater all sorts of guests, inbounds, to wedding, to mice, to FITs, to local Gujaratis. So we are responsible to feed all the palates and our global guests also. So our chefs are well trained to offer a great Rajasthani Udaipur specific cuisine and at the same time a global cuisine also. because we don't have one set of guests with us, and a huge wedding background as well.
So great. Thanks. That's a great input from a local and a thoroughbred a hotelier from the soil. All right. Now, let me get in with you, Gaurav. You've done this before, but a different location. You were at the Jainuma Palace, now here. So why don't you tell us about adapting to modern guest expectations and explore how Udaipur's hospitality industry adapts to the evolving expectations of modern travelers?
So, Bhuvnesh, thank you for having me here. I have been in this city for just about 2 months. And having heard everything what people have said so far, one thing that you can make out is everything is happening here in this beautiful city of Udaipur. For us, this palace behind me, which is the Radisson Blu Palace, 244 rooms, it's massive. So obviously, weddings are a big focus segment for us. And when I say weddings, it's so lovely to see these young couples or parents or families. They come in from literally, they're flying in from across the world to come and do recce's and explore Udaipur as a city. And what you can see on them is, you can see excitement, you can see dreams. So in a sense, we have responsibility towards fulfilling these dreams. It is all about flexibility. It is all about personalization, cultural focus, everything that people have been talking about. That is what we are offering over here. And I don't think it's just me. No matter who I talk to, be it these wedding planners, be it locals from Udaipur, or be it guests, the one thing that comes out as a sentiment is we've had dreams, we've wanted to do this, and it is not possible to do this in any city hotel. But Udaipur as a whole, there are very few restrictions, and people are literally laying out the red carpet for us and allowing us to do whatever, if I have to use the word madness, they're letting us do it. And when I say it so holistically, I'm literally covering everything. I'm talking about training and development. I'm talking about safety for guests. I'm talking about wellness, the cultural experience, everything. Very simply, it is, when clients or guests are coming to Udaipur, they are coming to form memories, and it is our duty, or it is what I've seen, it is this city which is, not holding back on anything and letting clients go back with beautiful memories.
Well, thank you so much, Gaurav. That's good enough for somebody who's barely spent any time for Udaipur. It was a great introduction. Thank you so much. We're at the middle part of our show, and I'll take a very quick break. It's a commercial break, and come back to you in about 15 to 20 seconds. Thank you, Diversey. Let me now get in with Parvinder. Parvinder, I'm back to you with your second. And I'd like to pick your mind on partnerships with local artisans. Look, it's never easy managing such a mammoth operation. Look, hotels are mammoth operation. It's like running a large sea-going vessel with thousands of guests. If you can highlight collaboration with local artisans and craftsmen to support the local economy and offer unique souvenirs to guests, it's also giving back to the community. Over to you, Parvinder.
Thank you, Bhuvnesh. So my thoughts on this, Bhuvnesh. So under the Indian Hotels Company Limited, IHCL ESG plus framework, which is called Pathya, we are fully committed to giving it back to the society. And one of the pillars that we have is of course supporting the local artisans, the local culture, and ensuring that they thrive along with us. So broadly speaking, if I was to put it in buckets, I'm going to, I'll make it short and crisp, but I'll tell you that one way of doing this is preserving what is we're feeling is going to go extinct if not supported. Second is supporting in the current, in terms of, like you said, from an economy point of view, supporting the local artisans. And then third is also introducing. So by preserving, IHCL has a very unique collaboration with UNESCO to support, intangible cultural heritage across India, wherever there are these, as we refer to them as ICH, intangible cultural heritage, art forms or, skills that are probably going to go extinct if we're not looking at them. For Taj Lake Palace in Udaipur, we've kind of collaborated with under this UNESCO and IHCL collaboration. We are collaborated with the Mulela village, where we are supporting the local artisans who are engaged in pottery, clay pottery, and we actually have a package for our guests where we arrange for a day trip to this village, get them to engage with these skilled craftsmen. And then bring them back and expose them to this wonderful dying art that we have. So that's what I'm referring to as preserving. When I say supporting, like Nishant mentioned, that as a part of our guest experience, both on arrival and both during the stay, we have performers who do the Rajasthani folk dance, the Kalbelia dance, the puppet shows. We've engaged them and we're supporting them for many years, and we create these wonderful experience for our guests during the stay, both arrival or as they would like to have that. So that's how we are preserving the communities. We also buy souvenirs from the local artisans, which to support them, which also are gifted to our guests, to take back memories from the rich heritage of Mewar, and we create these time and on. We're using these skilled, craftsmen in our hotels at various points, and so much so that when I say introducing, we're also supporting the young talent in Udaipur. And case in point is that we have a chocolatier, a young boy who's an upcoming chocolatier. And we are supporting him to create these wonderful chocolates, which we are now also introducing to our guests in our minibar. So we're looking at all facets, preserving, supporting, and introducing, and supporting the local community by giving it back to them.
So, hospitality general managers, of course, you're not just custodians of the assets and business heads of the business that you head. You're great storytellers. To weave stories into the fabric of what will be that you will offer to your guests. And that apart, you're also giving back to the community. You're helping people by holding hands. For instance, what you've done with this young chocolatier, right? So great work, and thank you.
Thank you.
Keep lifting the bar.
Thank you, Bhuvnesh. Thank you.
All right, so let me get in with you, Nishant, with my second one. Hospitality hotels, when it comes to luxury and the profile of guests that you cater to and handle, it's a huge draw on sustainability, but it calls for responsible tourism. So why don't you tell us about the initiatives and practices that have been aimed at promoting sustainable and responsible tourism in Udaipur, of course, at the Leela Lake Palace, but also about Udaipur as a location.
Sure. So, thank you. And this is one of my favorite topics. And sustainability, as Parvinder said, ESG as a whole is become a big piece for our organization. Not just what we do in our own hotels, but how it impacts the environment, how it impacts our surroundings, how it impacts the communities at large. Is everything being looked at very, very seriously? And it's not just one of those things which is tick in the box, but the progress is monitored, and it has somehow made inroads into a balanced scorecards as well in terms of a performance for the year. So that adds another dimension to what we have always done as hoteliers in the past. And I'll talk about both what we've done in the hotel and also what we do outside of the hotel. Last year we've commissioned our own solar plant in a remote location in Bikaner, because the amount of sunlight throughout the year is the highest there. So about 48% of our power requirement comes through the solar plant that we have in Bikaner now. We own that. So the production, it goes to the grid, and grid gives us the credit, and that's how it works. A lot of hotels have our own bottle plants, water bottle plants now. That also got commissioned in the hotel. So we are a plastic-free hotel, no plastic bottles. And then we've moved there. And we did an analysis that we've been able to save, or rather not use, about 120,000 kgs of plastic, which used to get consumed only in the form of mineral water that was coming to the hotel. We have now our entire fleet of boats converted into battery operated boats. So our entire fleet is EV boats now. And which is the way. And also moving forward, our cars for local transportation will move into EV, and that has been capex for 2025. Preservation of lakes. We take initiatives as a team, also engage with local authorities like Nagar Nigam to have combined cleaning drives for the lake. We do it on our own, and we also see that our surroundings are great, but we also go to the remote corners of the lake with the teams. Once in a while, Nagar Nigam also comes up with those campaigns, and we very, very actively participate along with them. We've also moved away from all the equipment in the hotel, which used to be fired through diesels. We've electrified them. And we've done analysis in 2023, and what we're going to close at, we will be decreasing the carbon footprint in the hotel by 65%. The only place where we use the diesel is our DG set in case of an outage. Apart from that, of course, our cars, we use petrol and diesel. And I hope, and there's a representation that has been made, and I don't know how soon will that happen. Udaipur is a part of the smart city. For us to get not rely on LPG. If you see the larger cities, now they have the pipe gas line. We will look forward to that initiative. It comes through to Udaipur. That does not exist at this point in time. So that is one thing that is from a non-renewable or a fossil fuel supply that we get. Another couple of big initiatives that we've taken as an organization, and which impacts every hotel and society at large. We have tied up with an organization called Fool. They make incense sticks. So all the hotels in Leela collect all the flowers from the weddings, celebrations, and the flower arrangements that we put up in the hotels. They get collected, and it goes to Kanpur. It was a great initiative and a startup that I think got commissioned about a few years ago. We now have an exclusive agreement with Fool. The flowers that we send, they make incense sticks and they come back to us. And the incense sticks are made by women who are underprivileged, or unemployed. So it helps the society, and overall gives our hotel a great talking point on how we're contributing to the society. Those incense sticks come back to us. We don't retail it at the moment, but it goes as an amenity. And the fragrance of those incense sticks is what we have developed last year, called Tishya, which is a combination of two flowers, Kumud and Nilgiri, which blooms once in 12 years. And then the biggest testimony of that, we sent these incense sticks to a celebrity, and a 5-year kid of the celebrity said that this incense stick reminds me of a Leela hotel. So how we kind of engaging with a community and taking to our guests. And then, it's a big sustainability story for us. Also, in terms of our local manpower, about 63% of our manpower is local or within the radius of about 100 kilometers. So, these are few of the things that we've done. We also have adopted a part of a Gulab Bagh. It's a big garden on the banks of Pichola. And we've adopted a certain part of it. Our gardeners and our teams go and maintain that. We also do celebrate the Environment Day and the Earth Day and all those beautiful days that have come up in Gulab Bagh. And we take pride in what we do over there, and a little contribution towards preserving our environment and making our future generations a little more safer and making a planet.
So I must tell you, I am the beneficiary of Leela's effort.
Right? Okay, you've got those
boxes.
Okay, do you like them?
I love them. And what we've started doing over the last 2 years is at home. One, we do not give flowers as bouquets or anything to anybody who comes. Right? We give fruits instead.
Yeah.
Right?
Great.
And whatever flowers are left over, we do a simple process. We dry them up, we grind them,
and make them into
and we make them into various consumables, including incense sticks.
Wonderful.
Marigolds, for instance, that were left over from Diwali, they are now being dried, and over the next 1 month they'll be processed. So at a personal level, and that's thanks to Leela. And thanks to ITC, we have done a lot at home, but we are getting there. Yes. Each one of you are doing a bit. Thank you so much, Nishant, for great input. Rajesh, I want to come to you now. Since you've done, I think Nishant and you have done almost the same amount of time. One may have done a little more. So tell me about the future outlook and expansion. And here I'm talking about insights into upcoming projects, new hotels, and Udaipur's vision for future hospitality development. Look, if at all there is a challenge for India, Rajasthan, or any other location, including Udaipur, is not about the guests coming in, is about the hotels that we can offer them, and responsible hotels. Development is a challenge. So if you can throw some light.
It's a very interesting topic for me because dates back to a small little anecdote when I was leaving. I had resigned from Leela and I was moving to my other assignment. And it so happened that, my farewell was on the Sheesh Mahal terrace of Leela. And a few of our general managers were there, and we said that, listen, you know what, there is a new hotel called Raffles that's coming up on Uday Sagar, and I don't know how that hotel is going to work, and you guys are still going to be ruling the rooks, and dhanda hai to pichola mein hi hai aur kahin nahi ho sakta. And that's these were my statement, and as karma would have it, I am sitting here right now. But having said that, I think I'll tell you what has happened to Udaipur before, because this is a prelude to what the question is. Because what has happened to Udaipur is that Udaipur as a city has grown. Udaipur as a city has grown in leaps and bounds, and Raffles has come up here as a part of the luxury segment, but it has not eaten up into anybody else's business. Each of us have grown. I mean, if you look at what the Oberoi did, or the Taj did, or the Leela did at a certain point of time back in the days, or for that matter, the Taj Ravali or Radisson Trident, everybody has grown. It is only the graph has gone upwards, both in terms of occupancy and in terms of ADR. Right now, that brings us to the next point, right? What is the vision? What is the scope for the hotels to grow? Well, let me tell you, in the next 2 to 3 years, Udaipur is going to have more than 1,000 rooms in the luxury segment alone. There is a Ritz-Carlton coming up. There is a Fairmont with 400 rooms coming up. There is a Marriott coming up, which is being designed by Bill Benchley. Bill Benchley is doing Ritz-Carlton. Jeffrey Wilkes is doing the Marriott. I don't know who the Hyatt is coming up with another 100, 150 rooms. Fairmont is 400 rooms. I mean, there is a huge plethora of luxury hotels that is going to come into that's coming into the airport. Besides this, the number of other hotels and the expansions within the hotels in itself is massive. For example, I'll tell you, Raffles alone, it's coming up with another additional 36 to 40 keys on the lakeshore side. Now, there obviously is a demand. People do not invest in making such properties just like that, right? So as they say, the Udaipur market is growing in terms of domestic, it's growing in terms of wedding segment also, and inbound continues to come in throughout. But you would be pleasantly surprised this year, and Parvinder is here to actually second me. Parvinder and Nishant would know about it better. This year, even during the off season, which was in the monsoons, we had a lot of inbound that happened. So, the marketing strategy of Udaipur has changed. When you pay X into 2 during the season, but you only have to pay X, and you have that X client available throughout the globe. So a season where there is inauspicious dates, where there is no wedding, there is nothing else happening, that is a period when this business is also targeted. Hence, the future outlook is looking just amazing for Udaipur, at least for the next 4 to 5 years. There is no taking away from that. What really is important, and Nishant, thanks a lot for throwing so much of light on sustainability. It's close to each one of us over here, right? I think what is we as existing hotels work on the sustainability platform, but also the newer hotels, which should ideally already start working on the newer platforms in advance already.
Let me give you
so that kind of helps a lot, because
Rajesh, I'll give you a bit of an input over here. I have 2 family weddings happening, one in February and one in March. And in the 2 weddings, one part of the spouse is international, right? One is a Westerner, the other one is an NRI, and they're all coming in from the Far East, and they're all coming in from the Americas and Europe. Now, there are 120 international guests coming in the 2 weddings.
Wow.
And all of them have various locations in India planned out before or after the wedding to go to, and Udaipur is one of them.
There you go. That's precisely what it is. I mean, like you said, when you said at the very beginning, right? You should have it in the bucket list, and you should have it at the top. And I would say, if you don't have Udaipur on the bucket list on top, and if you have it at the bottom, then make a hole in your bucket, because it should still be number 1 there.
Udaipur and Rajasthan are right up there. The challenge, gentlemen, is not about competition, because there is a room for everyone. Nobody peeping into each other's business. The pie is growing. But thank you so much, Rajesh. Let me now get in with you, Sandeepan, since you have the newest asset on the block. And Nishant touched about, hiring locals and working with locals. Parvinder spoke about artisans and how he's bringing in that young man who's doing chocolates for him. Why don't you tell us about hospitality workforce development and talk about training and developing the local workforce to meet the growing demand of the hospitality industry? Who better than you, because you have a brand new workforce, I would think. Short response, tell me.
Absolutely. So it'll not be a short one, because when we speak about developing, it is again a holistic development. Now, because the hotel or the retreat is located in a place which needed to be developed. So while we opened, or before we opened, we had to create roadways. to get into the hotel. To create roadways, then we had to put lighting. So we have put in about 750 solar lights so that from the main road to come down to the hotel. So these are developments which we did. We have, planted near about 7.5 lakh trees inside the property so that the greenness of the place is retained, because if you look at the background, it's all hilly, and these mass and the land scales are very, very barren. But because we wanted to give a closure to nature, we created those environment for the people. You'll be pleasantly surprised, because of doing that, the temperature of the hotel or the retreat has gone down by about 7 degrees. We got it measured twice during this year, and we realized that we have created a new ecosystem inside the hotel itself, because there are lots of birds, lot of fauna which has developed, lot of migratory birds because of the lake which we have inside the hotel. So these are developments. When we speak about the location, it has its own disadvantages and advantages. Now, because this area needed to be developed and we needed local manpower to cater to the requirements of the hotel, and as ITC, we tend to recruit at least 60% of the manpower which are local. So we have a training institute inside the hotel which trains people on horticulture, because if you look at the land mass, we have near about 250 horticulturists working in the property in the beginning, and after we opened, near about 160. So these manpower needs to be created to keep the area green. So that's a huge employment. Not only that, what we did was we taken over 3 schools which are on the way to the hotel, local government schools. We provide them with all those requirements, including their meals. We provide them with their IT requirements. We keep the infrastructure of the place active. We have put in an RO plants for the kids to have water, because these are basic things. So when these kids, go through these schools and they learn about the hotel which is nearby and which is creating such an atmosphere for them for education, you develop a lot of, people are inquisitive about coming and working for you, and that develops the society as a whole. Now, the basic problem with Rajasthan being, water, if you can provide RO plants inside the schools, that does a huge, boost for these kids. Adding on to that, we have, we take students from hotel management institutes which are in the city. We have apprenticeship program, but these are things which normally all the hotel does. But we went one step ahead and we went to the grassroots where these kids are getting educated, and creating horticulture institute inside the hotel was something which was phenomenal, because these people who are in and around, they do cultivation, that is there, which they learn from the birth. So when we put in education on that, and which benefits us as a hotel to keep the place green and keep the atmosphere what we have created, that helps.
Well, thank you so much, Sandeepan. That's interesting. Let me now get in with you with your second one, Pradyumna. You've done it, you've seen it, you've managed it before you became a general manager. Now that you've become a general manager, let's talk about destination weddings and events. There is no taking away from the fact that Udaipur is extremely popular as a destination for weddings and events and challenges. Let's talk about the challenges and opportunities for you.
Udaipur as a destination for these weddings is I would say, one of the most prime destination and one of the most expensive as well. And it has different price lines.
And that's a challenge for us.
It's a great opportunity for us because, and there is a hope as well, because now the Udaipur airport is getting international, tag, coming next 365 days, it should be on what they are planning. That would be a great opportunity for Udaipur to getting connected with international flights. So currently, a lot of these sectors of Hyderabad, Chennai, West Bengal, there's no direct connectivity. So that could be a little challenge what Udaipur faces in terms of connectivity within the India. I feel the inflow of the talent as a hospitality segment, the new generation, are losing their faith in hospitality segment, where I feel there's an inflow of talent is not as great as it was before COVID. Going forward, we must address all of these things, and these programs are the one wherein people will see and see the future, and have the faith in the industry. And the last, Udaipur itself as a city is not able to generate business, like a Jaipur or probably Ahmedabad or any other city. Up till some extent, they produces business for the city as well. Udaipur is not able to produce business for itself for the segment where we work. But I feel it's a great opportunities, and we see it's coming bigger and larger. Our hotel is the largest contributor in wedding segment in entire IHCL. We just made a helipad in the premises. 11th is the first flight landing, because we see an opportunity wherein, thank you, sir. We see an opportunity wherein people there are guests like this who's booked for this year for this winters, wherein they want a chopper service from airport to the resort, and which is being done by the resort itself. So we are managing those services as well. We have a tie-up with the company. So I see there's a great potential. The way the prices, the revenues, I feel it's a very, very bright future Udaipur have. Yes, there's a challenges what I mentioned, but that all the challenges can be overcome.
Look, challenges are good challenges to have. Otherwise, they would not need us to manage hotels, right? So challenges are good challenges. When I say that, it means there is scope, there is hope.
Yes.
And if we manage them, we are obviously going to springboard very fast. Thank you, Pradyumna. Gaurav, this is the last question of the show. And let me come in with you and pick your mind on regional tourism synergy. If you can discuss the role of regional tourism boards and collaborative efforts to promote Udaipur and Rajasthan as a whole.
I think, definitely the government or the Rajasthan Tourism Development Corporation, they're already doing a lot of work. And it is these efforts or prolonged efforts over the last so many years which has led to this growth of Rajasthan or Udaipur as a city, and which is, the fruits of which all of us are getting right now. Now, the only thing that I see when I've come into this state from outside is probably the collaboration that can be much, much better with key stakeholders. It's been about, 2.5 months that I've been here, but I've not yet interacted with anyone from the tourism department other than when they probably come for a meal at the unit. What MP tourism or what Kerala tourism have been very successfully able to do is, for whatever decision that they take as a tourism body, inputs for these are given by the key stakeholders in that region. Now, if you ask me as a newcomer to the state, I think that is one aspect that could have been that probably can be done better. I think most of the panelists have covered other points. It is necessary that we have skill development. There is, there is cultural and heritage preservation and so on and so forth. But for me as a newcomer, it's mainly about collaboration or collaborating with key stakeholders.
So, Gaurav, the local governments keep coming and going.
Mm-hmm.
But Udaipur has only one mirror, and that mirror is, or may I say parallel, is Thailand, Maldives, Sri Lanka, Seychelles, Mauritius, because tourism is their only business.
Okay.
Right? So Udaipur has its hands full. And ladies and gentlemen, Udaipur is a great canvas on which a brilliant picture has been drawn. And who better than these gentlemen that you see on the screen today? They are the custodians of hospitality, travel and tourism in Udaipur. Right? They've done it for years. They are stars, like I keep saying. They run assets of thousands of crores. Don't just count the value of the assets that they have, see the number of lives they affect with direct and indirect employment and business. You know, these gentlemen have their hands full, they have big hands, and they are brilliant ambassadors for the industry, for Udaipur and India. I keep referring to them as stars. Some of them I call skippers, some of them I call captains. You know, you should be in their place over years if you're somebody who's looking out to carve a career in this industry. This industry is brilliant. Where else do you have handled dignitaries and stars? You can do it at a young age, and they all have between 15, 20, and 25 years of experience. So be there and yes, talk about Udaipur, talk about the industry, and spread a good word and a lot of cheer. Now, before I end up closing the show, I would like to bring in Diversey and then thank you all individually. Thank you, Diversey. Ladies and gentlemen, lock in tomorrow. Block your time, Friday, December 8, 2023, 4 to 5 p.m. for our episode 30. We are this time doing a show on 4 locations: Jodhpur, Jaisalmer, Ajmer, and Pushkar, with another set of brilliant assets and fantastic general managers, right? Now, let me get down to doing what I do best. Thank my guests over here. Let me begin by thanking you, Parvinder. Have a great stint. You've just come in, right? You are a great ambassador for IHCL and Taj. More power to you. Thank you for gracing our show.
Thank you, Bhuvnesh. And if I may quickly say, I think thank you for this very wonderful platform. I think not only does it help us showcase what best we do, but I think from our fellow hoteliers, we get to pick up a lot of best practices, and I think together, when we implement them, we only look upwards. But thank you for this wonderful platform. Appreciate it.
Nishant, you do Leela proud. You handle a wonderful asset, and you're a great roving ambassador for the brand, industry, and the city.
Well, thank you so much.
Our platform.
Thank you so much. I thoroughly enjoyed last 60 odd minutes talking to each other. I have picked up my notes from various panelists on what best they do in their hotels and as a city as a whole. I'm looking forward to many more shows from you, Bhuvnesh. You
keep coming back and keep growing our platform and bless us.
Thank you.
A lot of blessings, Nishant.
Thank you so much. In personal conversations, I call you Annachi. So thank you again for being there. You carry such a lot of weight of experience across brands, across locations, right? You've done it. You've done that. And you again are a great ambassador for brand Accor, Raffles, and the industry and city. Thank you again for being there.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me on the show. And I can't thank you enough. You know, if you vaguely remember, I received my first Best General Manager award from BW.
I can't forget that.
I was extremely emotional, and I said it means a lot to me. And the BW is extremely close to me and my heart, and it will continue to be. You're doing a fantastic show, and I'd love to be back again at your beck and call. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. Sandeepan, you're new, young shoulders, brilliant asset, go far in life, do well, and be a great ambassador for the city and brand.
Thank you so much for having me here. I have learned a lot, and I think we'll have more interactions like this in future
Sure
as
we
well.
will.
Thank you.
Sure we will. Praddy, young and strong shoulders. You're starting off now. More power to you. Grow in life and be a brilliant ambassador for the brand. You're already ambassador for the state and city.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. It's an honor to be part of such legendary people, and I'm honored. Thanks a lot, sir, for giving
You
me.
are with legends. These are all legends. Last but not the least, my young friend, Gaurav Rege. Gaurav, new to the city, but you're a quick learner. You're a great ambassador for the industry. Do well.
Thank you so much.
All right, a lot of blessings. Thank you, gentlemen. And one small thank you for Team BW and BW Hotelier. They are all holding the fort from behind. A lot of them, there are almost 15, 20 of them who helped bring the show to the industry. Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen.